Good morning, this is Josh, and I'm reading Genesis 13 from the Interlinear Bible. The Interlinear is really a wonderful tool. I'm on BibleHub.com, and you can access this tool again at the address here, BibleHub.com. Just plug the reference in for whatever verses you'd like, and then whatever book, verse, version. There's a lot of different versions you can look at. And then if you come to languages, you can do interlinear chapters, interlinear verses. I'm just on interlinear verses. All right, let's take a look at Genesis 13. I'm in the Old Testament, the first book of the Bible. Of course, the first book of the Bible, or the Old Testament, I should say, was written mostly in Hebrew. A little bit of Daniel, I think a chapter was written in Aramaic. So it's important to get the original languages when you're studying the scripture and the culture. All right, let's go. Genesis 13. And went up Abram from Egypt, he and his wife and all that he had, and Lot with him, to the Negev. Wayal Abram Mimizraim hu Waishtal Asher Lao Laut Imau Hanegba. Verse 2. And Abram was rich very in livestock, in silver, and in gold. You know, you don't really think about that, but he was a rich man, which tells me something. I don't know if he inherited it, or as a merchant or a businessman, but the fact that he left Iraq, he left Ur of the Chaldees, being a very successful, wealthy man, and just uprooted and went where God told him, says a lot about the heart of Abraham, I think. And Abraham was rich very in livestock, in gold. Abram bid me'ad bemikneh in livestock, bakesip in silver, and ubazahab in gold. And he went on his journey from the Negev, and even to Bethel, to the place where he had been, his tent at the beginning between Bethel and Ai. I wonder what it was about this place between Bethel and Ai that he loved. 3 in the Hebrew. Vayelek lemesau menegeb wa'ed betel ad hamakaum asher hayah shem ahalau Betihila Ben El Uben Hey Or to the place of the altar which he had made there at first, called there Abram of Yahweh. Wow. El Mekaum Hamizbeach Asa Shaum Bareshana Wayikra Abram Beshem. In English, to the place of the altar, Hamizbeach, the altar. Interesting. which he had made there at first and called there a. Maybe it was special because it's where he first called Yahweh. He set up a symbol of that moment in time. And also Lot, who went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. Verse 5. Wegom lelaut. Haholek et haya son ubaka. Waam. We'ohalem. And Lot was able to support them the land they might dwell together, their possessions so great that not they could dwell together. These guys are, just hundreds and hundreds of sheep. Verse 6 in Hebrew. Welo nasa otam hares lasebet yahdao hayah rakusham rab welo yakelu leshebet yahdao. Verse 7. There was strife between the shepherds of livestock Abrams and between the shepherds of livestock Lot. And the Perizzites at that time dwelt in the land. He Rib ben Roe Mikne Abram Roe ne Laut Wahekena Heperizi as Yushib Mas Ayaris. Verse 8. So said Abram to Lot, No, please, let there be strife between me and you, and between your herdsmen, for men brothers we are. Verse 8. Wayomer Abram el Lot al na tehi mereba strife benni ubeneka uben roe uben roeka I anashim ahim an. Verse, land before you separate, please, from me. If you take the left, then I will go to the right. The right, if you take, then I will go to the left. Halokal, Hares, Lepaneka, Haredna, Mim, Hasemol, Mim, Weim, Hayasemila. Lot pitched. Lift up Lot his eyes and saw all the plain of the Jordan, where it was well watered, before Yahweh destroyed Gomorrah, like the land of Egypt, and Zoar. Vayisah laut et idayar et kal hayardan ke kul maske ne we et sedam wet amegan Yahweh Israel boaka, and chose Lot for himself all the plain of Jordan, and journeyed Lot east, and they separated from the one the other. Vayibhar et kal kikar hayarden sa la mekedem paredu slahio. Let me see, verse 12. Let me read it in English first. Abraham dwelt in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelt in the cities of the plain. and pitched his tent toward Sodom. Abram Yash Baeres Yan Welot Yash Baere Hakikar Wayeh Wayeh. Verse 13. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinful against Yahweh exceedingly. Wayense said him Wahatayim Yahweh Meod. But the men of Sodom were and sinful against Yahweh exceedingly. I'm going to stop there. Very, very interesting. I think we learned today that both Abraham were extremely wealthy, so much so that it seems their flocks, as doing of today, they just wandered. It's hard to imagine that it was over a lack of resources. It says the land was like the Garden of Eden, beautiful and lush. God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Now it's a desert. Still flocks there, but there was either just a massive amount of cattle. Maybe they were fighting over water. Maybe they were fighting over grasslands. It was something totally different. All we know is a fight broke out. And Abraham says, you go. If you go to the left, I'll go to the right. He let Lot choose. We also learned that Abram, or Abraham, his name hasn't changed yet. He seems to have made his home between Ai and Bethel, and there's an altar there. There's maybe a large tree, could be a plane, but either way that he built, and it's where he cried out to Yahweh. In chapter 12, God spoke to him. You know, it makes me think in my life where they were significant, and I cried out to God, and He was there. In your life, or my life, where we remember that special place, that altar, that moment God spoke to us in the darkness. What a beautiful thing, isn't it? That God communicates with us and loves us. Let's have a beautiful day today. I'd love to hear from you. If you have a thought or a comment, please post it in the comment section below.